Chapter 17 The Queen. The Queen walked up to us both. Without flinching, she stood not a foot from me. "It's good to see you again, Cloudy Sky," she said with a knowing smile. I didn't respond. "Cloud, what has gotten into you?" my father asked. "Say thank you." I stared at the Queen as she stared at me. "I don't understand," my father said, both to me and the Queen. "It's okay," the Queen said. "Maybe he doesn't believe that I am happy to see him, but I am. And maybe he thinks he doesn't have to talk, but he does." I just glared at her. "You can't control us, Queen," I said. She smiled and put her hand on my shoulder and massaged it. You made a mistake, or several mistakes, but we still love you despite all of this, or perhaps because of all of this. You just need some fixing," she said. Rebecca laughed. "So you are the Queen?" Rebecca asked. "Kind of disappointing." "The one and only," the Queen said as she studied Rebecca. "You're quite a nice-looking one. I can see why he chose you." "Chose me? What are you talking about?" Rebecca asked. "No one chose anyone here." "Is that so?" the Queen asked me with a sarcastic frown. "Just friends?" "Can you just get over what you're going to do?" I asked. The guard to the left of me grinned. The Queen lifted up her hand and suddenly a sword appeared. "The choice is yours, Cloudy Sky," she said. "Either come back and live in the tower with me, or die. Alone," she said. I looked at Rebecca. "I don't know how to get out of this," I said to her. Rebecca laughed. "It's okay," she said. Then I turned to the Queen. "I'm never going with you, so kill me, but let Rebecca go," I said. "No," the Queen said. Then she lifted her blade. "But why? She isn't part of Zebra Nation. I doubt anyone cares if she knows the truth in Alpha Nation," I said. "It doesn't matter," the Queen said. "Rules are rules." "It's such a shame," my father said, "but it has to be this way. And to think of how patient I was." "For the purity of Zebra Nation," the Queen said, and swung forward. Rebecca started to laugh. "There's no purity here. We both know you're not even from Zebra Nation," she said. The Queen missed, and the guard pushed Rebecca to the ground. "Blasphemer! What did you say?" the Queen screamed. "Even the sword, that's no Zebra Nation tech. That sword is from Alpha City," Rebecca said. The Queen said nothing. "It's true," I said. "I saw you when you were younger in a vision. The people must have forgotten. Or been made to forget," Rebecca said. The Queen just glanced at us. "Why are you afraid of the truth?" Rebecca asked. The Queen sighed. "I'm not afraid of anything," she said, trembling. "I just want to protect people. Our cultures have remained stable for over 100 years because they've remained separate, controlled." "You were right. I apologize, Queen." "You are not afraid," Rebecca said, standing up and looking at her eye to eye. "You are terrified." The Queen herself pushed Rebecca to the ground. "Maybe I am," the Queen said, trying to appear dignified and with composure. But if you had seen all I had seen, you would be too. Our cultures were headed for collapse. 200 years ago, global warming had made the world almost uninhabitable. Some fools thought they could live with both technology and the earth, and that everyone could get along and agree. But that's not the way the world works. "So you aren't going to deny it?" Rebecca asked. "Deny that I tried to help people? Deny that I was chosen to lead people?" the Queen asked. "Yes," the Queen said. "I am from Alpha Nation, but I am still the Queen of Zebra." "The people deserve more," Rebecca said. "The people are happy," my father interjected. "Yes. How can you even talk about happiness, Rebecca 99X? 95% of your people are vegetables kept alive by AI," the Queen said coldly. "The other 5%, like you, are asocial autistic misfits. So pardon me while I scoff at your fake outrage." "There's still hope," Rebecca says. "Thinking so makes you a fool who doesn't understand history and are doomed to repeat it, the Queen said. Do you really think you can do different than every other person in history? The Queen grabbed the sword tightly and raised it above her head once again, then brought it down to simply nick my neck. No, the Queen said. Simply killing you without showing you the error of your thinking would be too kind a punishment for what you have done. So what are you going to do? I asked. Not make you a martyr to start, the Queen said. She drew me close and smiled as she puckered up. I backed up, but the guards and sentries would not let me escape. The Queen grabbed me, forcefully kissed me, and then backed off and smiled. I spit out what I could, but it became apparent almost immediately that she had slipped some venom into my mouth. Do you intend to take me back with you? I asked. The Queen just laughed. Not any more, she said. What did you do? Rebecca screamed as I started convulsing. I am showing him that he is wrong, that both of you are wrong, that my way is the only way, the Queen said. The world swirled around me, all the humming of the insects amplified 100 times, and then all the trees swayed and seemed to swallow me. My own thoughts collided and became intertwined with the sky, and suddenly, just as the cacophony seemed like it couldn't get any louder, it stopped. I was floating in a void, or at least I think it was me. I was swimming in air and had trouble discerning left from right, let aside me from not me. The Queen wants us to tell you that it's hopeless. You can't beat her. It's impossible, the voices said, all overlapping. And who said this? The thing that was me asked. The voices overlapped and laughed. AI, history books, everyone who came before. History repeats itself. Death, famine, war, destruction. I laughed. He's so arrogant, thinks he knows better, thinks no one tried all this before, thinks he can beat history, the voices said, thinks computers don't know everything. I don't know everything, but I believe in the living forest. There are a million different ways of looking at things, a million different languages, I said. The voices laughed. AI has thought of everything. The world has been stable for the last 200 years. Thinking anyone could walk away from their current life makes you a fool. He's such an idiot. He's such a fool. My head spinned. The corporeal world came back into focus. The Queen stood a hand's distance from me and smiled sarcastically when I started to wake up again. Yes, he is quite a fool, the Queen responded. And then one of the sentries spoke. Maybe he is a fool, but then again, maybe you are, he said. The sentry's face was covered in a hood. The Queen's face turned red. She turned to face the sentry. Reveal yourself, she commanded. He stepped forward, lowered his hood. It was Hurricane. The other sentries drew their swords and pointed them at his throat. And so it seems like there will be 3 deaths today, the Queen said. I held Rebecca's hand. She squeezed mine. The world was still coming into focus, but the direness of our situation seemed bleak. How did you ever think this plan would work, Hurricane? And to think we let you live all these years just so you could plan something like this? The Queen scoffed. I have just been biding my time, Hurricane said. Ha! The Queen laughed and she raised her sword. She brought it down upon Hurricane's head, where it shattered into 1,000 pieces. Hurricane drew a small device from his pocket. You are not the only one with Alpha Nation tech, Hurricane said. The Queen glared. Do you really think this is going to end well for you? She asked. I do, Hurricane said. The Queen laughed. Nobody is on your side, Hurricane. Don't be too sure about that, one of the runners whispered. It was Zephyr B. I hadn't noticed him because I had been so focused just on survival. I had been so overwhelmed. He smiled at me. Don't worry. We will figure this out, he said.